Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a really huge shift in online shopping. We're talking about the new protocols that are going to let our AI assistants finally go from just recommending products to actually buying them for us. So here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll kick things off with a big problem that's holding AI shopping back. Then we'll introduce the universal protocol designed to fix it. We'll look at how it keeps things secure, compare it to a major alternative from OpenAI, and then we'll put all the pieces together to see what this really means for the future of how we all buy things. Okay, so let's just dive right in and talk about the core frustration we all have with AI shopping today. I mean, you've probably asked this yourself, right? Your AI assistant is amazing at finding that perfect jacket, the right gadget, but the second you actually decide to buy it, you're on your own. It just throws a bunch of links at you, and suddenly you're clicking through checkout forms again. The AI's job basically stops right when you need it the most. So why does that happen? Well, the reason is this massive technical problem called the N by M integration bottleneck. Just picture it. Every single AI platform, that's your N, has to build a completely custom one-off connection for every single online merchant. That's the M. It is a total technical nightmare. It doesn't scale at all, and it ends up locking everybody into the biggest platforms. So how do you get around that mess? Well, the big idea is to create one single universal language for all AI shopping. You can kind of think of it like creating the USB-C port for the entire world of commerce. And this is it, the Universal Commerce Protocol, or UCP. It's an open source standard, which is key, and it was co-developed by Google along with this powerhouse group of over 20 partners. We're talking Shopify, Visa, Target. The whole goal is just to create one shared language that any AI can speak to any online store. Now here's the really elegant part. Instead of needing to write custom code for every single store, an AI agent just goes to a standard web address on a merchant server. It finds this little file, a manifest file, and that file tells it everything it needs to know. What the store sells, how its checkout works, if there are any discounts. The big shift here is from development to discovery. It's a huge deal. And this does a great job of showing how the whole ecosystem works. UACP makes it super clear who does what. The AI platform, it handles the user's journey. The business, the merchant, they stay the merchant of record, so they keep control of their customers. And then you have specialized providers, like digital wallets and payment processors, who handle all the sensitive financial stuff. Everybody stays in their lane, and that's how you build trust. Okay, but this whole thing raises a huge, pretty obvious question, right? If we're going to let an AI buy stuff for us, how can we be absolutely sure that it's secure and that it only does exactly what we told it to do? Well, that is the specific job of the Agent Payments Protocol, or AP2. You should think of it like a specialized security guard that works right alongside UCP. Its entire mission is to provide what you could call the 3 A's of AI payments: authorization, authenticity, and accountability. So the really critical point here is the change in how we prove we actually want to buy something. The old system, well, it relies on a human physically clicking a buy button. The AP2 system completely replaces that with a verifiable cryptographic proof. Think of it like a digitally signed contract or a mandate that proves you authorize the purchase beyond any doubt. And the tech that makes all this possible is something called a verifiable digital credential, or a VDC. Just think of them as tamper-proof digital contracts. They contain your instructions, they're cryptographically signed, and they create this perfect audit trail. And here's the best part. It proves you authorized a transaction without ever exposing your sensitive payment details to the AI or even to the merchant. But, UCP isn't the only protocol in this race. It's time to take a look at a major alternative from the team over at OpenAI and see how these two stack up. Okay, this table really gets to the heart of it. You can see two totally different philosophies at play. UCP is built to be this wide-open, universal standard for everyone. ACP, on the other hand, is more focused on making transactions happen inside its own ecosystem. But this last row, data freshness, this is the real game changer. ACP relies on merchants pushing updated product info really frequently, maybe every 15 minutes. This is called an asynchronous approach. The data is pretty fresh, but there's always a bit of a delay. UCP, however, uses a synchronous approach. It lets an AI query the merchant's live system in real time. What does that mean for you? It means UCP should always have the absolute up-to-the-second info, which is a huge advantage for not trying to buy something that just went out of stock a minute ago. So these protocols are obviously critical, but they're really just part of a bigger story. To really get the whole process from start to finish, we need to picture the entire agentic commerce stack. So let's think of it in layers. At the very top, you've got the front end. That's where UCP lives. It's the language AI agents use to find what a store sells and to kick off that whole buying process for you. Next up is the payments layer, and that's where AP2 steps in. It handles the secure authorization for the purchase, acting like that trusted financial guard that verifies your consent. And finally, once the order is placed, a back-end protocol takes over. A good example is the Order Network Exchange, or ONX. These protocols give agents a standard way to manage that whole complex world after you buy. We're talking shipping, inventory, and all that logistics stuff. So after all that, what does this actually mean for the future of how we buy things? Well, it signals a really fundamental shift from an internet of pages to an internet of protocols. And this right here, this quote sums it up perfectly. In the past, right? If a product page had some bad data, a human could probably still figure it out and buy the thing. But when an AI is doing the shopping, if your data isn't perfect and totally machine readable, the AI won't just have a hard time selling it, it might not even find it in the first place. Your product literally becomes invisible. And that leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. As the internet shifts from being this collection of web pages designed for human eyeballs to an ecosystem of protocols designed for AI agents, what happens to the businesses that don't learn to speak this new language? Will the AIs of the future just pretend they don't even exist?